राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी बोलो श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन की, श्री श्री महाप्रभु की, श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हदेव की, प्रभुपाद की, गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। हरे कृष्ण। So today I'd like to go into the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which is called Knowledge of the Absolute. In this chapter, specifically the verse 7.7, so the 7th chapter, it begins with Krishna finally delving into the Bhakti Yoga part of his instructions. The Bhagavad Gita is divided into 18 chapters, and the first 6 chapters, Krishna, talks about different types of yoga. When Arjuna is confused, he's in the battlefield and he's not sure what is the way forward. He's in a very unusual situation which makes him feel very anxious. And his situation is that he's a warrior, but suddenly he's having to fight with his own family, his own guru, his own great-grandfather, his own brothers, and his own uncles. So he was a Kshatriya, he's used to fighting, that is his dharma. He's used to having, a very big army that he's facing, and he's trained in that discipline. But even though all these aspects are there in terms of his experience, his work experience, he is in this unusual situation wherein he is going to have to perform his duty against his family. So we all have different identities. There is an identity in the work scenario where we are, performing our daily work for earning a living. There is also an identity which we have in front of our family. And the two identities are different in the sense of how we relate based on the circumstances. But when the two identities have a conflict, you are facing the family, but you have to perform your duty. And it is not a very pleasant situation. That leads to what Arjuna was situated in. Very anxious, actually very confused, and to the point where he wanted to not fight anymore. He didn't want the kingdom anymore. He forgot that this is a righteous war, and he became very personable in his feelings that this is my family. So the Lord, he goes on to explain, first of all, that you're not this body. So he talks about who the self is. Who am I really? What is my position in this world? When I forget who I am, then whatever I try to build on top of that, it may or may not be correct. So it is very important to identify, first of all, what is my position. So Krishna, right away in the 2nd chapter, he gets into the part where he says, "Oh Arjuna, you are not this body." And then he goes on to explain the various types of yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, trying to understand Krishna through knowledge, and what is action in Krishna consciousness, then dhyana yoga. And in the 7th chapter, Krishna finally, starts to discuss another layer of the absolute truth, because he realizes that there is more needed to describe about his own position, who is the Lord. And based on that, there are many beautiful verses wherein a devotee can actually start to relate with the Lord in their day-to-day lives, as well as understand or try to understand what is the position of the Lord. Even if I accept that, yes, I am a spirit soul, it is important to know what is the position of the Supreme. So in the 7th verse, which is what we will start with, please repeat after me. Mattaha parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya Mai sarvam idam protam Sutre mani gana iva Mattaha parataram nanyat Kinchidasti dhananjaya Mai sarvam idam protam Sutre mani gana iva Mattaha parataram nanyat Kinchidasti dhananjaya Mai sarvam idam protam Sutre mani ganaiva. The synonyms: Mataha, beyond me. Please repeat as I say. Mataha, beyond me. Parataram, superior. Na, not. Anyat kinchit, anything else. Asti, there is. Dhananjaya, O conqueror of wealth. Mai, in me. Sarvam, all that be. Idam, which we see. Protam is strong. Sutre, on a thread. Maniganaha, pearls. Iva, like. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Please repeat. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. Purport. There is a common controversy over whether the supreme absolute truth is personal or impersonal. As far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, the absolute truth is the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and this is confirmed in every step. In this verse, in particular, it is stressed that the absolute truth is a person. That the personality of Godhead is the supreme absolute truth is also the affirmation of the Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. That is, the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead, is Lord Krishna, who is the primeval Lord, the reservoir of all pleasure, Govinda, and the eternal form of complete bliss and knowledge. These authorities leave no doubt that the absolute truth is the supreme person, the cause of all causes. The impersonalist, however, argues on the strength of the Vedic version given in the Svetasvatara Upanishad 3.10. Tato yad uttarataram tad arupam anamayam ya etad vidur amritas te bhavanti atha athetare dukham evapiyanti. In the material world, Brahma, the primeval living entity within the universe, is understood to be the supreme amongst the demigods, human beings, and lower animals. But beyond Brahma, there is the transcendence, who has no material form and is free from all material contaminations. Anyone who can know him also becomes transcendental, but those who do not know him suffer the miseries of the material world. The impersonalist puts more stress on the word arupam, but this arupam is not impersonal. It indicates the transcendental form of eternity, bliss, and knowledge as described in the Brahma Samhita quoted above. Other verses in the Svetasvatara Upanishad 3.10 and 9, 8 and 9 substantiate this as follows. Vedaham etam purusham mahantam aditya varnam tamasaha parastat tam eva viditvati mrityum iti nanyah panta vidyate yanaya yasmat param na param astit kinchid yasman man namyo najasosti kinchit vriksha iva stabdo divi tishtati ekas tenedam puranam purushena sarvam. I know that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to all material conceptions of darkness. Only he who knows him can transcend the bonds of birth and death. There is no way for liberation other than this knowledge of that Supreme Person. There is no truth superior to that Supreme Person because he is the supermost. He is smaller than the smallest and he is greater than the greatest. He is situated as a silent tree and he illumines the transcendental sky. As a tree spreads its roots, he spreads his extensive energies. From these verses, one concludes that the Supreme Absolute Truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is all-pervading by his multi-energies, both material and spiritual. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrinde Vineshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. So this verse is very interesting and can be analyzed. This analogy can be analyzed very deeply, which is what I would like to do. In the first part, Krishna says, O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. He's very declarative, he's assertive. He's asserting his position that he is the absolute truth and that there is no one who's superior to him. And then the second part, everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. So if we want to go a little bit deeper in the second part, Krishna, he is discussing about him being the place on which pearls are resting. And he's, the pearls are strung on a thread. So what can that, mean? What are these pearls? If everything is resting on him. The pearls are the creation. Can we go, who is created by him? He's talking to us, right? He's talking about specifically, in this context, the pearls is us, the jivas, the living souls. So he's saying that these pearls are strung on a thread, and in that way, everything is resting upon him. What is the quality of a pearl? What is the quality of a pearl? Is it, he's a supreme, and actually we are so insignificant as a soul that he could call us like a speck of dirt or a speck of dust, but he chooses to call us as pearls. So what is the special significance of a pearl? I'd like some, it's shiny, yes. It's beautiful. Yes. It's very rare, yes. If I may request you to please come and use the microphone for there's devotees online. So the pearls are rare, very rare. Where are the pearls found? Yes.
It's a beautiful thing because the pearl starts as just a little speck of dirt in the shell, and it builds up this beautiful covering that gets larger and larger and more valuable.
That's right. So it's very valuable because of the time it takes to form the pearl. So it's very valuable. And what else can we talk about pearls? So we talked about they're very rare, they're very valuable, they're very pure over time, we can see. And what else? They can be strung on a thread, right? And if we think about it, are all pearls of the same kind? Are they the same size? No, they can be of different sizes. And when we see that they are all strung on a thread, what does it result in? A beautiful necklace, right? If we just, look at the deities, they have a beautiful necklace. And if you just think that all those beads are pearls, and they're all strung together, and they're resting so nicely that they decorate Krishna. And then he says, so Krishna has this very beautiful aspect wherein he is not just saying that he's the supreme, but he's also saying how valuable the jivas are, the souls are to him. He's not just saying that, they're dirt or they're just so insignificant. So that is the absolute truth. He's not just, giving his own vision as someone being the supreme, the greatest, the majestic, and at the same time putting, the jivas in a very insignificant form, although they are insignificant. They are so insignificant that we cannot even fathom who Krishna is. But he's giving the position as a pearl, and then he says that they are strung on a thread. Everything rests upon me as if who's the thread? Krishna himself, right? So in a necklace, if we just try to analyze this a little bit more, when we have a necklace, what else is common for the pearls? In terms of how they are strung. Right, so before the thread, so we are just focusing on the pearls itself. Do they have a relationship with other pearls? They are strung next to each other, so they are placed next to each other, right? And do they have any particular position? Each pearl has a position, right? And what happens if one pearl is missing? The necklace doesn't look good, right? It looks, suddenly there is something missing. So, in the same way, Krishna is giving a very interesting point that, he's giving there are two aspects to Krishna. There is the Aishwarya, which is, he's very supreme, and, with all, he's so supreme that there is respect and there is majesty and everything. But there is the other side where he is very intimate. And by giving the position of the souls as being a pearl, he's giving his position and his feeling towards his intimate side of him, wherein he's giving that there is a relationship, and I'm supporting everyone, and I consider them as very rare and valuable like a pearl. So there is no particular person who has no position. For Krishna, from Krishna's point of view, every devotee and every person that he creates in his creation has a place. Just like on a necklace, every pearl has a place. And if the particular pearl is missing, then there is some aspect which he feels, sad about. He feels at a loss that why did this soul not come to me? So that is a very beautiful side of him, wherein he is showing his sweet, intimate relationship. And he is showing that he is coming to the second part, where he is the thread. So what is the role of a thread in a necklace? Keeps them together. And what else? It supports, yes. It supports all the pearls. What else can we talk about the thread in a pearl necklace? It's invisible. We can't see the thread. The pearls are strung, but the thread doesn't choose to be showing itself. Because if the thread is seen, does it make the necklace beautiful? No. It looks more beautiful when the thread is not seen. And Krishna chooses to be like that. He is the support. He is the main support behind all the pearls. But he is not visible. And in this purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about a very important subject, that there are many, there are two ways to look at the Lord. One set of devotees, they know that the Lord is a person. And then there is other set of devotees who think he's not a person, he's impersonal. And they quote the proof from the Upanishads that he's arupam, means he doesn't have a form. But from a material standpoint, does it mean that the thread is not there? No. Without the thread, there would not be the pearls. But is he invisible? He's not visible. He chooses to be invisible. But those who know that yes, there is someone supporting us, who acknowledge that Krishna is supporting them, they believe in the personal form of the Lord. And that is a superior state of understanding. So Krishna has very nicely explained his personal form in this example, in this analogy, which he himself chooses. And at the same time, he makes it very explicit how rare and important and valuable each person is to him. So when Krishna feels like that about each of the souls, about like a pearl on the necklace, imagine what happens if one pearl starts to feel, oh no, that is not your position, it's my position. that would be not very nice, because each pearl has its own place. In the similar way, we can understand every person has a place in the creation. And that person is so unique, so valuable, and so rare that no other person can take the place of that person. That relationship is so unique to Krishna. So there is no need to feel that competitiveness which we feel in a material world. So the material world is just the opposite of what is in the spiritual world. In material world, we see that our upbringing is all about competition. We need to be better, take someone else's position to get something. But in the spiritual world, it's not needed, because that's not the truth. If we look at some of the wonderful paintings done by the artists, sometimes we have these pictures of Krishna running with the cowherd boys. And Krishna, we see that each character in that painting, each cowherd boy, even though he may be far off, but Krishna simultaneously is finding that person important. That cowherd boy isn't, just because he's in the back doesn't mean he's less important. But in the material world, we see that, if there is any event, like with the president or, with any particular game, there's always there's VIP seats in the front, right? We see there is a distinction made. Some people are at the back, and they're considered in some way, with whatever sense of purpose they are discriminated to be behind because of certain reasons. Either they're not as important, or their position is not recognized as important, so they're made to sit behind. But in the spiritual world, this is not the case. Every person, every soul who's related to, who accepts his relation to Krishna and is eternally, accepting that I am part of Krishna's team, like the cowherd boys when they play with him, they are of all the same value for Krishna. So, in this way, I just want to read, I wanted to quote actually a very nice aspect which we have from the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. In that, there is a part where Gopakumar, who is one of the cowherd boys, he actually is in the material world, and he finds it's a book that describes the journey of Gopakumar back to Goloka Vrindavan, where Krishna is, eternally residing and interacting with his dear devotees. And Gopakumar goes to, he goes through various regions in the material world, and then the spiritual Vaikuntha planets. And as he progresses in his journey, he reaches his destination, which is Goloka Vrindavan. And Gopakumar, he's not sure how Krishna is going to feel, right? When you're in anticipation, how is Krishna going to receive me? I've been loving him, wanting to love him all this time, and I want to meet him. And Krishna, when he sees, he's actually playing with the remaining cowherd boys, and when he sees Gopakumar come, he just stops and he turns and he talks to him and he actually embraces him. He shows how much Gopakumar is important to him. And there's a very, very nice verse. He says, Gopakumar says, he leaped forward and came close to me, compelled by the affection of his helpless devotee. I fainted in love at seeing him. He caught hold of me by the neck, and suddenly he too fell to the ground. So that is the feeling Krishna has towards each of the living entities. And they are special pearls for him. They're rare. And he misses us eternally until we acknowledge and want to go back to him. And he will treat each of the person equally important. No soul feels that, okay, Krishna's treating the other person more important, because that is the spiritual nature. It's completely transcendent. It's not material. So how do we really understand? How do we reach to that point? And Krishna reveals that as well in the first verse of the 7th chapter, the 7.1. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Shakta Manaha Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashayaha Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Jnanasyasi Chatrino. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Now hear, O son of Pritha, how, by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt." So Krishna emphasizes, you can know me in full. Many times, before we come to the path of bhakti, we may be reading and understanding different versions of spirituality. But it is very clear in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, you can know me in full. And he explains that without, free from doubt. Many times we have this question, what about this? What about that? So Krishna says, just be free from all doubts. So in this purport, Prabhupada actually goes on to, describe very nicely the process. In the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. Krishna is full in all opulences, and how he manifests such opulences is described herein. Also, 4 kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna and 4 kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna are described in this chapter. In the first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, the living entity has been described as non-material spirit soul, capable of elevating himself to self-realization by different types of yogas. At the end of the 6th chapter, it has been clearly stated that the steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. I'd like to read that again. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. Impersonal Brahma-Jyotir or localized Paramatma realization is not perfect knowledge of the absolute truth because it is partial. Full and scientific knowledge is Krishna, and everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. He is in complete Krishna consciousness. One knows that Krishna is ultimate knowledge beyond any doubts. Different types of yoga are only stepping stones on the path of Krishna consciousness. One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness automatically knows about Brahma Jyotir and Paramatma in full. By practice of Krishna consciousness yoga, one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth, the living entities, the material nature, and their manifestations with paraphernalia. One should therefore begin yoga practice as directed in the last verse of the 6th chapter. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in the 9 different forms, of which Shravanam is the first and the most important. The Lord therefore says to Arjuna, Tat Shrinu, or hear from me. No one can be a greater authority than Krishna, and therefore by hearing from him, one receives the greatest opportunity to become a perfectly Krishna conscious person. One has therefore to learn from Krishna directly, or from a pure devotee of Krishna, and not from a non-devotee upstart, puffed up with academic education. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, this process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is described in the 2nd chapter of the 1st canto as follows. Shanvatam svatakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtanaha hridyantasto badrani vidhanoti suhritsatam nastrapaishu advadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki tada rajastamo bhavaha kamalobhadayaschaye cheta etair anavidham sitam satve prasidati evam prasanna manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogatah Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate Vidyate Hridaya Granthis Chindyante Sarva Samshayaha Kshiyante Chasya Karmani Drishta Evatmanishware. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lusts and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of Ashamshayam Samagram, understanding of the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead. From the Bhagavatam 1.2.17 through 21. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna. So it becomes very clear. Krishna has said, and Prabhupada has very nicely elaborated, that from the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam is a Mahapuran. It's a most essential book, actually, that we can meditate upon and read, with 18,000 verses describing the stories and, in a beautiful way, the interaction between Krishna and his devotees, how devotees take shelter of Krishna in different forms, different bodies, like Gajendra, who's an elephant, he can seek out Krishna, and how a child like Dhruva Maharaj, another child like Prahlad Maharaj, these are all unusual characters who are actually getting the blessing of the Lord in very unusual circumstances. You know, one is a child, one is an animal. So it's not that we have to be perfect in a certain way in material standards to understand Krishna. Krishna is accessible irrespective of our material identity. The qualification to get Krishna, to understand Krishna, or to know Krishna, is to hear about him. And all these devotees that we read from the Bhagavatam, who have so beautifully praised the Lord in their prayers when they meet him, either through distress or through circumstances, they have actually heard about him before. And as a result of that previous hearing, their hearts have been purified and they are able to see and know Krishna such that when they see him face to face, they are able to glorify him so beautifully that person who's reading those prayers feels inspired. We feel purified when we read those prayers. So Krishna is beautifully explaining that first of all, you can know me in full, be doubtless about that. And in the Bhagavatam, it is explained how to know him. It is to hear about him constantly. And the way in which the Bhagavata Purana is written is so beautiful. It's in the form of stories that even children who are in the womb can benefit when you read the stories to them. What to talk of someone who's grown up and who has full understanding of the language and who can perceive the knowledge. So the other aspect, the position of the Mahamantra that we can see there, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This Maha Mantra, it is actually, said that just like we need only one book to understand Krishna. Lord Shiva says in the Gita Mahatmya, among all the books, let Gita be the book that we need to know. Like that, among all the mantras, Maha Mantra is the mantra. There are so many mantras available in different scriptures and different forms and different deities, different moods. But the Maha Mantra contains the essence of all these mantras. So by chanting this Maha Mantra, one can get direct access to that energy that can reconnect us to the Lord. And not only that, Srila Prabhupada says that not only someone who's grown up, even a child can perceive that. When we place ourselves in a kirtan of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we can notice even a child or even an animal sometime can feel the joy by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So what is this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra? It is the form of the Lord which says, O Hara, that is the energy of the Lord, who is none other than Sri Radharani, and O Krishna, and then Hare Rama. Again, Krishna can be referred to as Rama when we refer to him in his pleasure potency. So he gives pleasure to the devotees. And so Krishna, when he is referred to as in the form of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the specific arrangement of the syllables of the Maha Mantra, give a direct access to that energy wherein we are bringing Radha and Krishna together in the form of their names. And by that mercy of worshipping them together, the devotee in their heart gets so purified. The Maha Mantra, when spoken through the lips, the sound vibration enters the ear of the devotee and goes directly, penetrates into their heart. And then there's some magic that happens in the heart wherein the devotee can directly feel that yes, this vibration is helping me, it's healing me. I have for millions of lifetimes forgotten this vibration. I need to be in touch with the Supreme, and this is the best and the fastest way. By chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we are simultaneously saying the names and hearing. So when we say the same verse, Srinvatam Svata Krishna, that is, we are hearing about Krishna. We can hear either his Bhagavatam form, which is the stories, or we can directly hear from the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna has himself spoken, or we can glorify him in the form of the Maha Mantra. All these activities have the same result. The Maha Mantra acts in a very accelerated way because the energies of the Lord are fully manifest in his names. He is directly present in every syllable of the mantra. And as a result of the chanting of this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one can immediately know him, know who is Krishna, at least understand how is it that I'm insignificant, how is it that I am not the Supreme. Generally, the tendency in our material consciousness is that we tend to have that feeling of position that yes, I am the Lord of all that's around me. Whether I'm just driving on the road, or just sitting in the room with with my colleagues at work, or there's a sense of superiority that's naturally in us, that I am the superior. And that superior is something that material education tries to give us more and more, that yes, this is self-esteem. Actually, it is not self-esteem. It is not realizing your true position. By understanding our true position actually is the right self-esteem, because I know what is my position in relationship to the right person who's the Supreme. If I understand my position in relation to the Supreme, it is understanding my actual position in relation to the other pearls on that necklace. If I know that it is the thread that is binding me and the other pearl, then automatically I will have respect for the other pearl. I will not try to take the position of the other pearl, because I know I am unique, I am rare, and I am valuable to the Supreme. That is why the Lord invisibly is supporting me. He's supporting me in the form of the Paramatma. And he's also supporting me in the form of devotees around me, the other pearls. So there is no reason to feel competitiveness or to feel, left out. So I was also going to touch upon a few aspects where Krishna says in the Bhagavatam that this is a specific part from the third canto of the Bhagavatam, wherein it is described about the creation of the material world. So each material world that is created from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, Lord Brahma is born. He is a chief engineer. And he is also the person who, from whom the different living entities get their bodies. There's these different souls in this whole creation, the material creation. But even after the whole, machine is set up by Lord Brahma's energies and, by his, by the blessings of the Lord himself, Supreme Lord himself empowers, the machine does not start to move, in the sense that the demigods are in their positions, the different living entities are in their positions, but we notice that in the Bhagavatam it's described that the whole cosmic manifestation does not activate unless and until the Supreme Lord enters into it, and he takes the form of Virat Purusha. So the Virat Purusha actually is a subtle form of the Garbhodakshai Vishnu, who enters into the different, the planetary systems, the 14 worlds, which are supporting the different living entities, the demigods, and all the different created beings who have a role to play in this universe. And they're all like different pearls sitting in place. But unless Krishna, who's like the thread, weaves himself through these different pearls, it doesn't become a necklace. They're just like scattered everywhere. So Krishna is so nicely described. It is described in the third canto, 6th chapter, 3rd verse. Thus, when the personality of Godhead, okay, I'd like to wait for that. Thus, when the personality of Godhead entered into the elements by his energy, all the living entities were enlivened into different activities, just as one is engaged in his work after awakening from sleep. So it means that the different entities are kind of lying dormant. We cannot function. It's like the pearls are just scattered all over the place, unless and until Krishna himself desires and blesses the effort. So he enters into these elements by his own energy, and he enlivens these living entities into different activities. So he proves again and again. What are the other ways wherein he proves that he is the doer? The 3 modes of material nature, right? He says that Prakriti kriyamanani guna kurmani. So he says mama maya. He again says that I am the source of my own material energy. So without his empowerment, none of these energies can function. Now I'd also like to talk about the last aspect that I wanted to touch upon as a result of what we have read and understood, the relationship. The relationships among different living entities, and what about the relationship among the devotees themselves? When a devotee is someone who understands not only what his position is, but also the position of the Supreme Lord, and then the last part is, what is my relationship with the Supreme? So when I understand what is my relationship with the Supreme, that I am insignificant, I am a servant, he is the master, I am so insignificant that I cannot do anything myself, I can only try, I can have the desire. Krishna gives us the free will. He gives us the independence to have a desire. But I need to align the desire in the right way as Krishna desires me to act. If I don't do that, then Krishna will not reveal himself. That also Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that it is very difficult to know me. Why? Because if I'm not approaching him with the right attitude, why would he reveal himself to me? In the 9th chapter, 1st verse, Krishna tells Arjuna that, "Oh Arjuna, I am revealing this knowledge to you, this confidential knowledge, because you are my dear friend and you are my devotee." So those are the two qualifications to get access to this knowledge. Who is the Supreme and what is my relationship with him? I have to have the attitude of a friend, not be, unfriendly to the Lord to fully know him. And at the same time, if I approach him with devotion, then Krishna chooses to reveal himself voluntarily. Just like when we are, in a circle of friends, and Krishna, and if supposing we are talking something which is personal, the minute someone walks into the room who we are not so close to, we choose not to discuss about ourselves anymore. Suddenly we feel this is private information, this is personal, and I'm not comfortable sharing it with this person who I'm not so close to. In the same way, Krishna, he has a circle of friends. He chooses to reveal himself to those who understand and accept him as his friend. He does not reveal himself to those who are still envious of him. So if at some point when I read the Bhagavad Gita and I say that, "Oh, I'm not understanding anything today," then I look upon myself and say, "Krishna, I'm really sorry. I have some layer of envy inside me because of which I don't understand what you're talking. So please, there is a prayer, please reveal yourself to me." Krishna says that in different places, even in the Ishopanishad, that lift this veil so that I can know you. So the devotee becomes more and more humbled by this not knowing. Why cannot I understand what Krishna is trying to say? And this is always the case. Every time we read the Bhagavad Gita, no matter how many ever times we have read before, we understand something new. That's because there is another layer of envy that has diminished, that has gone away. And Krishna chooses to reveal himself by his own choice, by his desire. He understands that yes, this devotee is eager and he has developed the qualification to know me. Because if Krishna reveals more about himself and we are not qualified, what happens? We will misuse that information. So Krishna is very much a person. Just like we feel that I don't feel comfortable sharing this information about myself with certain people because I don't know them, I don't know, maybe they have envy towards me in their heart. I don't feel like sharing until I know that they're really my friends. Krishna is in the same way not going to reveal himself if we don't have the right attitude. So a very important part of that attitude adjustment, as Srimadvananda Prabhu says, I've heard his lecture and he says, it's called attitude adjustment. So nicely he says that even a great devotee like Indra, when there was this whole Lila of the Govardhan, being lifted by Krishna, Indra is a great devotee. He is serving and he's he's got that position because of his past pious activities, righteous activities. And he's very much favorable towards the Lord. And as a result, he's got the position of being an Indra. But at some point, because of some unfortunate situation, he starts to become puffed up about his position. He starts to think, I am powerful. I have this power, and as a result, I can exert my power on the Vrajavasis. Krishna has taken away his remembrance for some time that the Vrajavasis are more dear to Krishna than even Indra himself. And that whole Lila is so significant, wherein a great devotee like Indra is made to go through this experience that he's fighting, by showing his, the showers of rain and the thunder, frightening the devotees of Vraja, the devotees who are running here and there. They don't have their homes left anymore because of so much water. And then Krishna comes to their help and he says, come, all of you come under the Govardhan hill. And he supports them for 7 days and 7 nights. And that was the time it took Indra to realize his position. So there was an attitude adjustment. So every devotee who is on this path will have these circumstances where there will be attitude adjustments. Part of devotional progress is also growing up and willing to accept those layers of adjustment, so that whenever the time comes, the devotee becomes very open. Yes, I made a mistake. I'm sorry, Krishna, please forgive me. There is no other way for a devotee. Krishna is so kind. He shows us the right way in the right amount of time, with the right amount of dosage of, not pleasant feelings. Doesn't break us down. But he gives us that knowledge and gives us that empowerment by gradually helping us grow in our spiritual life. And so the very important point which I was talking about is relationships. One of the most important aspects of spiritual connection is the relationship with the Lord. And there is also the relationship that each of these pearls that we talked about have with one another. So what is our relationship with the other devotees? It is very important to continuously introspect. That at least we should be very cognizant that, yes, and very alert, that we be very practical and nice to other devotees. Not be envious, even though the feelings of envy are going to be there until we are fully purified. There is no doubt, we are in the material world and we have chosen to become what we are. It is our choice. But if I constantly desire that, oh Lord, I do not want to be envious anymore, then Krishna will fulfill that desire in due course of time. But it has to be a constant meditation. That yes, I don't even know who I'm envious about, because today I feel very blissful and happy and joyful in my spiritual life, and then 2 days later suddenly I find myself being envious. And I'm like, what happened to all that progress that I made? It can feel very disheartening. But that is an opportunity. That is an opportunity to go back to Krishna and sincerely pray that I have these layers of envy inside me. I don't feel comfortable about certain things about myself that I'm feeling about the other pearls that Krishna is so, they're so rare and valuable. And how do I bring myself to my own position? How do I stick to my own position of me being my own pearl? I know Krishna's, accepting me, but I need to let others also be in their position. Their position of doing their service and their relationship to the Lord is unique. And we need to appreciate that. We need to accept it. So when we start to accept that, then the Lord is very merciful. He's actually just so favorable. He's just waiting. Just like when Indra, he took the help of Mother Surabhi, and he went to the Lord and he asked for forgiveness. The Lord forgave him. So the Lord is very, very merciful. He's actually just waiting for us to accept him, accept our position, and accept the position of other living entities. When the person, over a period of many, many years of practice, understands that, yes, this is my position, then by training of the mind, we stop being envious. This is also natural, because just like Krishna says that everything, it's a practice. In Dhyana Yoga, it's a practice. It's about controlling our senses and controlling our mind. So the constant endeavor of the devotee is to practice from our side and to seek his mercy. Because without Krishna's mercy, it is not possible. So I also want to just, conclude and probably have more discussion and reflections after this point, which I recently happened to read about a very important tool is to develop to how we can improve ourselves in our relationships with other devotees is by developing humility. And I happened to read this very wonderful excerpt by His Holiness Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj. He says, real humility means no enemies. A practical way to calculate our personal level of humility is to notice the extent to which we maintain the mindset of friends and enemies. Krishna has said that one who is dear to him has neither enemies nor friends. Even if someone acts as our enemy, we do not have to view them as such. Not having enemies does not mean that we are in denial or that we avoid addressing improper behavior. We address issues out of love and with humility by speaking truthfully. At the same time, we should not try to see others as enemies, whether they agree with us or not. So it's very interesting that how we can have the desire to have the right mindset. Even if others are viewing us as someone, not favorable for their company or their association, they may be viewing us as someone not favorable, still we should not think like that about them. Because it's just a matter of time and things will get cleared up. And that is also, he emphasizes that by speaking truthfully and with humility. So when one endeavors to speak truthfully, things all they resolve. The truth is by speaking truthfully, there is a lot of power. There is a lot of empowerment Krishna gives to those who are truthful. That is why even in our mundane world, the power, the whole quality, the values of honesty are emphasized and that is very good. Because when one is truthful and honest, then one is sincere. And when one is sincere, that applies to our spiritual life as well. And when one can be sincere in their spiritual life, Krishna is, extra merciful, extra compassionate, always willing to help. Even though we may have fall downs, they are temporary. They don't bring us down to the point where we break down completely. So I'll just stop here and open some time for questions and reflections. I'd like to know reflections, what you liked, if you heard something that you really liked that helped you. We can pass the mic around.
Thank you so much, Raseshwari Mataji, for the wonderful class. And I've been very eagerly waiting to come and attend the class. And for those of you who are in the room and those who are watching this online, I wanted to share that I'm here today because of Raseshwari Mataji's special mercy. She's my Vartman Padaksha Guru. She left a Bhagavad Gita in the Indian store close to my home. And I took the Bhagavad Gita and that transformed my mind. And then that was about 9 years ago, 10 years ago. And I'm still so grateful to you for, making me who I am.
Grateful to Prabhupada.
And then I really liked the way, so when I read the topic today, I was like, wow, this is such a relevant topic for us, especially, while you're here, you're volunteering, you come to the community, you interact with so many people, and then, sometimes there can be some friction there. And so when you started reading from the 7.3, I was like, how is that connection going to ever happen? Like relationships and that. So you actually strewn topics of your lecture very nicely, just as how Krishna has strewn that. A couple of points that I liked is you mentioned in the beginning that if I forget that who I am, when Krishna immediately tells Arjun that you are the soul, he said if I forget who I am, then anything that I build on top of it is not going to be good. So that was really a powerful statement, because then we operate from a different platform if you don't know who you are, and do things from totally different platforms there. And then also that it's only by hearing from Krishna or his devotee in Krishna consciousness that you can understand the science of Krishna. And also I always think about Sandeepan Muni giving the benediction to Krishna that that your words will always be fresh, but now you gave a very different, spiel to it, that why are they fresh? And that is because layers of envy are actually, getting removed every time you read the Bhagavad Gita and reflect on it and work on what is being said. Then some cleansing happens, and next time you come, then it's a different you who's reading the Bhagavad Gita. So that was very, very good. And then also, while we're talking about behavior, there's always a question that comes, and somebody was asking me just today morning itself about improper behavior, and so it was very reassuring to hear from you that we should not deny improper behavior. If it is improper, we have to point it out, but then the key is that you have to realize that that other person is also a pearl in the sameness. I really appreciated your pearl analogy, especially pearls are my favorite. So thank you so much for the wonderful class. There's more that I can talk, but I'm sure others are wanting to say this now.
Right, thank you. Yeah, the pearl analogy, actually it's a combination of different lectures from different devotees that I've been hearing that really inspired, and it made a connection. Especially this pearl, even I had not looked at this particular verse so deeply, but in the course of my research, and I was like, this is some topic that I really want to weave into the relationships, because it's very easy to remember this example, this analogy that Krishna himself has given about pearls on a necklace, and that he is a thread. And simply by analyzing, even from a material sense, the properties of the pearls and the property of the thread, or the nature of the thread, it's easy to remember that and that what is my position and what is the other living entities are also pearls. And so there is no need to feel left out. And Krishna is there as a thread. Yes, please. I'd like to hear more from the audience, other devotees. What is it that they feel, their reflections and thoughts?
Thank you, Mataji, for such a wonderful lecture. I like the analogy of the pearl, that everybody holds a special position with the Krishna, and we don't need to take other position. And the other thing I like, as you mentioned, that when we are dealing with a devotee, we should try to acquire the nature of humility and maintain the truthfulness, so that the relationship we are building they all connects with the Krishna. So I like that point. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the point of honesty and truthfulness is very powerful. Even that stuck out to me when I was reading this, that how do we, when we are in the middle of such feelings, negative feelings, the tendency is we can conceal the truth. We feel like, we feel defensive. But if we are truthful and at the same time humble, that gives us empowerment to pull ourselves out of that negative consciousness. And actually, Krishna helps us more because he sees that we are making an effort. So that's something which even I really, appreciate. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. It was a wonderful class. Again, the point that really stuck out to me was the pearl analogy, and that each and every person is unique and has a position and has a relationship with Krishna, and Krishna is invisibly supporting everybody. So that was very nice. And then when you talked about the relationship with other devotees, Mataji, however, sometimes there are instances in which you feel that somebody is getting more mercy and you want to be at that mercy, and then you get these feelings of enviousness, that because you want to be at that position. So how do we overcome that? How do we not have that?
That's a good kind of envy when you want more mercy. Right? There's two kinds of envy. Envy also has different layers or different types. So envy is when you're trying to put the other person down, or you say, I don't get the mercy, so the other person doesn't get the mercy. That's very negative. That's not something favorable. But actually it's purification. When you see the other devotees are getting mercy, then you feel the desire that, yes, I wish I got the mercy. And you get that desire because you have a taste of that mercy. Right? So actually it's not so bad. Like how in this example, I would say that, just be truthful and introspect. And when we see others getting the mercy, we have to accept that, they have worked. That's why they have, in some past life or in this life, we don't know Krishna's plan. They have got the mercy somehow or the other. And sometimes it's just causeless mercy. We don't know the intricacies of Krishna's, actions and of course the desires of the Vaishnavas. The desires of the Vaishnavas are very, very powerful. Like Srila Prabhupada, simply by his desires, we can see that how he would go, when he was in India, and he would meditate on how can I spread this knowledge to the entire world in English. And he would go and cry. And in the samadhis of the Goswamis, and also in Bengal, we've heard about this devotee who actually said that there was this person who would come and just cry and beg for mercy, empowerment. That is because a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada had this desire in his heart that all the souls of this world benefit from this Krishna consciousness movement as given by Lord Chaitanya. And it is his desire that we are actually having access to this knowledge and this mercy that we are, in this position today. So the desire of the Vaishnavas is very, very powerful. If we can simply serve the Vaishnavas, that somehow by their voluntary desire, they bless us, that may Krishna, bless you, may Krishna empower you more to become a better devotee. When even a simple devotee, even our peers who are, maybe in the same time they have come to Krishna consciousness like us, even if you get their nice feelings and nice, blessings, it is important. Actually, we should try to get the blessings of all the devotees. We should not think that, only senior devotees or only someone who's equal. Even someone who's new in Krishna consciousness, we don't know. They may be new in this lifetime, but we don't know how many previous lifetimes of Krishna consciousness they have practiced or what previous mercy they have got. So we should actually humbly ask, even in our heart if we can ask that, oh Vaishnavas, please bless me. Then simply by the voluntary desire of the Vaishnavas, one becomes eligible to get a glance from the Lord. And there are many instances of this in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, many stories that are, that we can think of, specifically that comes to my mind is just by honestly serving, different devotees at different points have got the mercy. I mean, we can, talk about from the first canto, Narad Muni. He was a child. He just humbly served the sages. He had no, he probably didn't know the position of those sages. He just served them because his mother was serving them. But he got the supreme mercy. So, he got the darshan of the Lord, and then everything is revealed. So it is actually Krishna consciousness is so, potent, so powerful. Even by a simple desire, actually it can mean a lifetime. It can mean a lifetime of mercy. So the most important thing is to have the desire. So if your envy is born of the desire to get more mercy, actually that's a good thing. So you should be, happy that you are in that position. So that kind of envy is favorable. But you should also work towards, praying and, like I said, getting goodwill of other Vaishnavas. Even someone who is new. You get a goodwill from a Vaishnava, they will always bless you. Because Vaishnavas are naturally very soft-hearted. If someone humbly approaches them that, please, I'm having this situation, can you pray for me? Don't think that their prayers are insignificant. We don't know how significant the prayers of Vaishnavas are. Krishna himself, he's more favorable when devotees pray. And that is why when the supreme devotee, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right, we are praying to Radharani also. So when Radharani recommends to Krishna, Krishna has special mercy that he gives. So you are having full access. You can pray to the other Vaishnavas, you can pray to your Guru Maharaj, you can pray to Radharani in the form of the Mahamantra. And, prayers are always answered. There is proof of that in the Bhagavatam.
Thank you.
Sure. Yes. Any other reflections, thoughts? Please don't hesitate. Yes. If you, yeah.
My reflection is I'm very impressed with how you can take one verse and open it like a pomegranate and all these wonderful
seeds and thoughts come out, which are all very relevant. It's the one thing that I had an obstacle, and it was the very first, though I followed your whole talk, and it was great. But at the beginning, Krishna addresses Arjuna as the conqueror of wealth. And I don't know how to interpret that. Have there been talks or purports on that way of addressing Arjuna? Is
That's
it
a very
okay to
good
ask a question?
Yeah, it's a very good question, actually. Very good question. So Krishna, in the different parts of the Bhagavad Gita, he is very, actually that's a whole, discussion by itself. It's a very big discussion. It's a very nice topic by itself. We can have a lecture on that topic about the different names that Krishna uses in the different points of the Bhagavad Gita to address Arjuna. Sometimes he calls him Parth. Sometimes he calls him, O son of Pritha. Right? He calls him Dhananjaya, which is what? The conqueror of wealth. Dhana means wealth. Jaya means someone. Dhananjaya means, O conqueror of wealth. So Krishna, and similarly, Arjuna addresses Krishna at different points of the Bhagavad Gita in different names. Sometimes he addresses him as Keshava, sometimes as Madhusudana, sometimes as O Hrishikesha, conqueror of the senses. Sometimes he addresses him as Bhagavan. So it is all based on specific time, points of the Gita and specific emotions that Krishna and Arjuna are, experiencing, and based on their relevance to that particular point of the Gita that is being discussed. Gita is a very elaborate, actually, if we try to study, it would be very nice if devotees try to study the entire text, with some, in the company of devotees, other devotees who have studied this book, and things become more clearer at some point where a particular aspect of the subject of yoga is being discussed. Like in the 7th chapter, from the 7th chapter till the 12th chapter, the middle 6 chapters, they're like, so there's the first 6 chapters, the middle 6 chapters of the Gita, and the last 6 chapters. So there are 18 chapters. So the middle 6 chapters are kind of like a sandwich between the beginning and the end. And they are actually the most confidential information. If you notice, the essence of bhakti yoga, which is devotion, and it starts to build up from the 7th chapter. And of course, there's verses scattered around that can, that also apply. There are like Krishna sprinkled different verses that hint at bhakti yoga, but specifically the middle 6 chapters, they're kind of protected. Usually when someone wants to read a book fast, they read the introduction or they read the conclusion, and then they think, okay, they got it. But the middle 6 chapters are, Prabhupada himself talks about this in one of the purports, that the middle 6 chapters deal with the confidential knowledge. If you see, the 9th chapter says the title of the chapter is the most confidential knowledge. The 12th chapter is about devotional service. That is the kind of the last part of the middle. So in each instance, there are different names based on what kind of yoga is being discussed. And specifically in this chapter, in this part, he's called as Dhananjaya, O conqueror of wealth, because Krishna is reminding him what is his position. He is a kshatriya. Kshatriya means a warrior. A warrior by nature has a role to conquer land. So he's trying to revive him into his original position, that you are a warrior. You're meant to fight. You're meant to conquer the land. And this is a righteous cause. Don't shy away from that. Because by not doing so, he's not going to benefit. So that is again discussed in the second chapter, the details about that. So that is the significance of calling him O Conqueror of Wealth.
Something just flashed in my mind also, because there's a phrase called pearl of great price. So it's very appropriate, I think, that he talked about wealth and the pearl.
Pearl. Yes. Yes. Very nice.
Thank you for pulling those things.
Thank you. Thank you so much for very wise points. Yes. Do we have other thoughts, reflections, anything? Yes. Any other questions that come? Doesn't have to be from the lecture. Yes.
There was one more thing that I really liked about when we were talking about envy, that we need to have a constant meditation on that. That was very powerful, because we tend to forget and we think that we are exalted, and then envy comes and hits us. It's almost like how Krishna says, "Nikutasva kashmalamidam." From where has this dirt come? And so envy, that feeling itself is so alien and so disturbing that. It was really, it was a good point too, that you have to be constantly meditating. Like, am I doing it? Am I doing it? Because sometimes it can manifest as something very, very different, and you have to really dig into to realize that it is envy that is making behave like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very important topic, an important point, wonderful point. So envy, we can talk pages and pages about this topic. The important thing, something that I, over a period of time of reading about this, that I would like to share is, the most, first of all, for a devotee, it's very important to practice their prescribed number of rounds. If they're chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, in ISKCON, in the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, as recommended by the founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, devotees are encouraged to chant at least 16 rounds of the Mahamantra. And devotees are very, alert. They pay attention that, yes, I have to finish my rounds no matter what. Because it is like cleansing. Every day morning, like we wake up and we brush our teeth and we take our bath. Why do we do that? I just took bath yesterday. I'm not that dirty. I didn't do anything, right? No, it doesn't work like that. We know by experience and by habit that it is a good habit and it is necessary for the hygiene of the body to maintain it clean. If the body is so important, then what about the driver of the body? I am the soul, and that is the real me. This body is going to perish, but the soul is never perishable. It's eternal. It's the real me, and it's going to carry on for eternity, because I'm eternal. And I don't know how many lifetimes of dirt I have accumulated. I don't know how many lifetimes of not chanting the Mahamantra or not reconnecting with the Lord I have lived. And finally, I have come to the position. It's like, it's the greatest, it's a very gross analogy, but imagine if someone who's not taken bath for many days and then suddenly realizes they need to take the bath, right? They better start doing it regularly to be restored to their original position. So it's like, we have been disconnected from the Lord for millions of lives. We have chosen to be disconnected for millions of lifetimes. And by the desire of a great devotee, like Srila Prabhupada, we have been reconnected to our original position. And the best means, as he is prescribed, is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this Mahamantra keeps us on track. Even though some days we may not feel very envious and we feel very good about ourselves, about being very spiritual, but the Mahamantra keeps us on track, keeps us in balance. Because there's a very nice point about dualities. His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj talks about dualities. So in this world, everything is like two sides of a coin. You have honor, dishonor. You have wealth, you have poverty. You have pride, you have humility. So you have these qualities which are kind of, the two sides of the coin. And what's in between is a very thin rim of that coin, right? And that's where we need to be positioned ourselves. That's the balance we need to find from honor, dishonor, joy, and happiness and distress. These opposite things are the nature of this material world. That is why we are even devotees feel constantly disturbed, because it's the nature of the material world. Krishna says this, dukkhalayam ashashvatam dukkhalayam, means it is going to be a place of miseries. Why? Because there is duality. But the soul is not used to this. We are not used to it. Actually, that is why we don't feel comfortable about it. Otherwise, we would get used to it. And so the soul has, the position of the jiva is to find that balance on that rim of that coin, the two sides of the coin. So how to find that balance? How to know that I am in balance? Otherwise, I would go either on this side or fall on the other side. It's the Mahamantra. It keeps us in balance. Why? Because that is the fastest and the most efficient way to reconnect us to the divine energy of the Lord, which is what I'm hankering for, to be in balance. And even further, one should introspect that, how can I improve my chanting? Because the chanting by itself, what is the holy name? There's a lot of experience by devotees. They say, well, after some time it's a little boring. I don't have any taste left. Why do I find it so dry when it's supposed to be so nice? It's supposed to be, you need to feel very good. Or I come to the kirtan and I feel very joyful, but when I sit down myself, I'm just waiting for the time and the beads to finish. Right? It's such a very familiar experience, because the medicine is bitter. But that is the medicine. We are still in the phase of tasting the medicine. The Mahamantra is like a medicine. But actually, is the medicine bitter? It's Mahamantra, it's Krishna. Krishna is not bitter. Madhuram. Krishna's adharam madhuram. He's very, very sweet. But it is me, my conditioned nature, that has, Srila Prabhupada gives a very wonderful example of a patient who has jaundice. The remedy for a person who has jaundice is to give sugarcane juice. But the person who has sugarcane juice by nature is the sweetest. But a person who has jaundice, when they take sugarcane juice, it tastes the most bitter. Does it mean that the sugarcane juice is bitter? No. It means that the person is diseased. Like that, the Mahamantra is actually the most sweetest thing a person can experience. And we get, specks of that experience when we are in kirtan or when we are in the right association. And then we suddenly start feeling like, wow, I think I'm spiritual now, right? But actually it's not me who's spiritual, it's this Mahamantra who's giving us the mercy. But when we come into this, the situation where it is feeling very bitter to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we should feel with our intelligence even more determined. And that is why we have the Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita in the written form. It is important to have a balance. It's not sufficient if I just keep chanting. That's why Srila Prabhupada has created this balance between reading and chanting. Is important, because when I read, I'm associating with Srila Prabhupada, who's a pure devotee, through his words, and then I feel inspired to chant, because then my intelligence drives me into chanting. Even though it may feel bitter, my intelligence tells me this medicine is important, I need to take it, because this is going to bring me back to my original state, which I have forgotten, and it's so pitiable. It's a most unfortunate place to be, that I'm not having a taste for the Mahamantra, right? So, it's a balance. The scriptures remind us of that, and the Mahamantra reminds us and helps us appreciate the scriptures. I still remember when I first started reading the Bhagavad Gita, I did not know that I was, what is the process of chanting. I would read and the Bhagavad Gita and I would feel warmth. I was like, yeah, this scripture, this Prabhupada's version is really nice. It's very, I was able to appreciate the content in a very theoretical manner. But I still didn't understand it. And I was not able to appreciate, what is he trying to say? What does all this mean? How do I change myself so that I actually, follow it? And until I met the devotees, until I met, specifically I would like to acknowledge my, one of the earliest Shiksha Gurus, Her Grace Gandharvika Radha Mataji. She, gave me the beads for the first time, and she taught me how to chant. So when I started to chant, I was like, this seems very, primitive. Am I Satya Yuga or what? But actually, that was the key to understand the scriptures. I kept asking her, I don't understand so many things in the Gita. Why don't you explain it to me first? She says, no, you will get it. But first you do this. Start chanting if you can. I said, okay, let me try it. And in the back of my mind, let me see if this works. If not, I'll just give it up. The skeptical mind is like that. But when we have the right guidance, and the mercy of the pure devotee, the mercy of the devotee of a pure devotee, that is the most, it is the most, I would say, eventful moment for a soul in the material world. Because at that time, you are bending towards the right, source, the supreme. You're volunteering, you're giving your free will. You're willing to come to the rim of that coin, to rise above honor, dishonor, pride, and, humility. Or, there is a balance. You have to have a balance to live in the material world. So you're willing to come into that balance, and Krishna is then, once he sees you, he right away reciprocates. We all have experienced that, isn't it? The minute we sincerely pray to the Lord for some help, he is the first one to reciprocate. Even before we know it, in fact, he reciprocates more than we even expected and desired in the first place. Yeah. So that is that is, I just want to address that envy, that it is important that we try to also focus and have a very structured practice of associating with the right devotees and chanting in their association to timely remind ourselves of the value of the Mahamantra, because the Mahamantra is so powerful that it can bring us above these feelings of envy. It can purify us very rapidly, so rapidly that we don't know it. But we have to put an effort. It's not easy. Krishna has given us a sample in the beginning of our spiritual life, but then after that we have to pay for it. We have to pay for it with our sincerity and humility and a deep desire that, Krishna, I really want to taste your holy name. Please reveal yourself. Beg every day, every moment. There are moments of fall down, sleeping during the chanting, the senses are so, distracted, your body is tired. But remember, every effort, every intention counts. Every intention, even in the material context, there are books written about this, how intention plays a big role. It actually says that, how, for example, in a very nice example from a material experience standpoint, that when I walk into the elevator and it's filled with a lot of people, do you suddenly feel a little silent? Everybody falls silent, right? And then you start feeling a little, uncomfortable. Because why? Because all those auras around you of those different people and their thoughts, you're very close to them. So those feelings and those vibrations, they count. So if we have the right intention, the vibrations that come from our body are going to count for the people, that's for me, myself, for the people around us. So if I am chanting with the right intention, even if I am not perfect, but my intention is right, Krishna will give us, will fulfill our desires. He's there, he's fulfilling our desires from the time immemorial, as he says in the Isha Upanishad, right? So he's very merciful. Yes.
Mataji, in the first purport of the 9th chapter, first shloka, it's written that his devotee in Krishna consciousness can understand the signs of Krishna. So Krishna is a person. Why does Prabhupada mention signs of Krishna? Science is the phenomenon.
Right. Science is to... So what is the purpose of science?
Purpose of science is to validate
To validate, to
observe, and
discover.
validate. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you have observations and then you have discovery in a scientific process. So it's a science of Krishna consciousness, or the science of Krishna is by observation. So when we observe the material world, when we observe the devotees, when we observe the processes of various yogas, it begins with observation. It begins with my senses, and then the higher elements like the mind and the intellect kick in, right? So it's a science because we are using our senses to observe the creation that's as it is around us also. We don't have to be transcendental to actually experience that. We can directly have perception just by, like scientists, they discover a new galaxy with their millions of new stars and new universe and millions of suns, and just by observation. And then what is the discovery behind that? That there is a creator. That yes, this is not some machine that doesn't have a driver. If I already know that, if I already know who's, how this machine works, that means I'm better than the machine. Only then I can know how it works, right? So there is no one who can claim that they know God, because if they know that, then they would know everything, how it works. But they're always in the discovery and observation mode. They're always discovering. So it is a science. And the acharyas actually, the spiritual, lead masters as well as the previous acharyas actually have made their observations based on the various scriptures and based on what they have understood of the people of Kali Yuga. Like how Prabhupada, when he came to the West, he made observations how things work here. Culturally, it was a different world for him. And age-wise, he was very different. But he observed and he discovered that, okay, this is how I can help the souls. And he created the movement that was very accurate based on the time, place, and circumstance. So it is a science in that sense. Sure. Anything else? And are we good on the time? It's 7:45. What time do we... We have a Bhagavad Gita class? Oh, yes. Okay. So we have 15 more minutes then? Okay. Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for the wonderful class. 2 points. One was, Shraddha Mataji said in the start of the reflections that how you were the path pradakshak guru for her and how she came into Krishna consciousness because of that book. And I was reflecting that how when we came into ISV, we got connected with you at the initial stage when we were in San Mateo, and you were in one way Shiksha Guru for us. So thank you very much.
I'm just grateful that, because of devotees like you, maybe Krishna will glance at me, because you are fully dedicated, all three of you, to Sankirtan movement. And Sankirtan movement is the most precious project for Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya.
Thank you, Mataji, for such an engaging class. Other point I wanted to mention, I don't know if it was already mentioned, that you were saying at the end that how one thing that Bhakti Tirth Maharaj mentioned, that real humility is the one which has no enemies. So that was very thought-provoking. We think just humility as something that to be humble or something, but to not have any enemies, that's a very bold statement.
Yeah, and I guess his point, I can read it again, it's very interesting. He says, a practical way to calculate our personal level of humility is to notice the extent to which we maintain the mindset of friends and enemies. So it's about the mindset. So in my head, I think this person is my enemy or this person is my friend. So I have control of that. I can change my mindset, right? Krishna has said that one who is dear to him has neither enemies nor friends. So again, talking about the two sides of the coin. So we have to find the balance. We have to find our way to the rim, where it's a very thin line between friends and enemies, right? Even if someone acts as our enemy, we do not have to view them as such. Not having enemies does not mean that we are in denial or that we avoid addressing improper behavior. We address issues out of love and with humility by speaking truthfully. At the same time, we should not try to see others as enemies whether they agree with us or not. So we have full control of how we can change our mindset, which is the good news. Because what affects us in our thoughts is our own thoughts, right? It's not what others think about us, because we don't know what they think about us, right? It's very hard to know what really someone thinks about. So the best way is to control our own mindset. So the improvement begins with ourselves, which is why the very interesting point of this, the vibrations. If we carry in our own heart the right vibrations, then we can influence the rest. And that is the best influence we can generate. If we get sucked into that energy of negativity, where others are also, we are in association of a lot of things which are negative, then we can find our own aura feeling, our heart feeling very dense and uncomfortable. And who's the hurt the most with that? I. And I choose not to be like that. So when we consciously make that choice that I don't choose, being affected with that negativity, I choose that I put myself into positive influence. And who is that positive influence? First of all, my own mind. And I fill my mind with the right thoughts from the right guidance. Take the shelter of the scriptures. Talk to someone who's more positive. That helps, right? We notice that pure devotees, why we feel so blissful around them. Even our negative thoughts melt away, because their bodies are radiating so much positivity that just coming in contact with them without even actually having a conversation, we feel uplifted, because their auras are full of positivity and their vibrations are connected. And how is that happening? Because they're constantly chanting the Mahamantra. They're getting their energy from that. So if we, at the very least, we should, just immerse ourselves as much as possible in spiritual energy. And, like how Prabhupada says, even a child can feel that. Even a child can take part in dancing. So, one practical way is just to put kirtan and start dancing when you're feeling negative. You will feel positive right away, because the spiritual energy is positive there. So that is what I have experienced, and I pray that I can also personally, remember that. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mataji, for the wonderful class. I have a few points that I really liked. One was when you mentioned about how only through devotees' prayers and blessings we can move forward. So how important, we think it might be insignificant, but how that plays a significant role in moving forward in devotional service. And one more point that you mentioned related to that is like how when we can approach Radharani to get connected to Krishna, and how we can do that is through chanting. So and also when you mentioned the point that it's a struggle to chant attentive rounds and do it properly, but then if we have the sincere desire, and you mentioned that we should beg every day and pray every day to Krishna to help us. So thank you for mentioning those. Of course the whole talk was inspiring, but these points really I could connect. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. It is a systematic progress in everything, as our temple president, His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu also says, systematic. And it's a constant endeavor, for every devotee, and we should at least have that desire. There are some circumstances for like new mothers or, devotees going through some really stressful times in their life, but we have to maintain that desire that yes, I may be, there's a very nice verse in the Bhagavatam, Tattenu kampam susamikshamano, right? Bunjanu rupam. So that verse itself is a nice meditation where Brahma says that if a person is someone who is, who accepts that yes, I am suffering for my past sinful reactions, my misdeeds, but at the same time, at the current moment, I am continuing my devotional service. I am offering all respects and, with full devotion, I am worshipping the Supreme Lord. Then it is a matter of time that I become qualified to get liberation, to get liberated from those negative situations which are holding me back from my spiritual progress. So we have to have that faith, and that this is a gradual process. It cannot become something that can be achieved overnight. And we are on the right track. Even though there might be temporary fall downs, as long as we have the right desires, that, I don't even know why I am going through this, but Krishna, there must be something you want me to learn. Please help me remember that I need to learn that. Let it be an opportunity so that I don't go through this lesson again and again. Because Krishna is very kind. He will make us go through certain experiences again and again until we get what he's trying to teach us. Because we have surrendered to him. We have asked him to take, to accept us as a pearl on that thread. We are a pearl on the thread, and he is working in his invisible ways to make us more polished. Right? We are the rare soul for him. So he's very merciful. He will make us go through those experiences till the time we get that lesson that we are supposed to learn to improve ourselves. And by doing so, once we get into that mode of acceptance, and Lord Brahma very nicely says that, when such a person constantly, while going through the reactions of their past misdeeds, also worships the Supreme Lord, that person becomes qualified. So we are being qualified over a period of time. So there is no loss. It's only positive progress. Even a setback is a positive progress in Krishna consciousness. So, yeah.
I was wondering that since you have glorified the holy name so much, maybe we could use some time to chant.
Yeah, we can. How would you like to? You want to just do a kirtan or? Okay, let's start. My favorite tune is the first tune that I heard Prabhupada singing. Simplest, but the most potent. So let's start with that. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Gaur. Thank you very much. It was such an honor to have such a wonderful audience and so many wonderful points because of your interest. I'm very grateful to all of you and to those who are watching online. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.